Congratulations, Shannon. Was that the performance you were hoping for?
I mean, yeah, it would probably take the start we had. No, look, I thought it was our defence, to be honest. Like, we hit shots and things offensively and we looked pretty good there at the start of the game, but it was that defensive intensity and mindset that kind of started all of that off and, made it really tough for Southside, I think, to generate good shots in the first 5 minutes or so, and we seized the advantage. But, there was some ups and downs throughout the game, let's call them that. So certainly a lot of things for us to address going into game two.
2 huge runs to start those first 2 quarters. What do you put that down to?
I think, honestly, it's probably the first time we've played them this year where we've actually been able to prepare for them. So I think we had a good plan going in and, the girls were aware of the things we needed to be able to do really well and what we wanted to exploit, and then also what we needed to take away. And, it's probably the first game this season where I've seen us, at least at the start of the game, be really, really locked into those things. So it was really positive.
Christy said she was a bit surprised by the physicality. What did you think of that and the way it was called tonight?
Well, I mean, the refs are fine. Honestly, the refs are fine. It was great to see they actually called some fouls on the Flyers late in the game in the second half, because, it's probably the thing, she talks about that, or she says that word a million times, I think, after every game. And, we try and focus on just playing basketball and whatnot, but it certainly feels like when we play them, anytime they're in a position where the score isn't in their favour, the physicality goes through the roof. And you saw that today, a lot of plays where people are being dragged to the ground, their guards, they're playing that zone and they're able to come up and really hand check, and our guards can't even come off a ball screen because there's so much contact and physical play. So, it was great to see the refs call some fouls on some of that as the game went and sort of deeper into the second half. But I have no doubt they'll probably be 10 times worse in the next game.
Abby, how do you feel like that? How do you sum that one up?
That was just fun to play. I think, starting the game, the first and second, aggressive, especially on defence, that generated some really good pace for us in transition and get our shooters' eyes, through the hoop and all that. But no, it was so much fun to play and everyone did their job coming off the bench. And it was just, it was good.
With such a big lead, what was the sort of key message at halftime?
Just to stay locked in. We go out at 0-0 again. Execute our offense. We knew they were probably going to come back out in that zone, so kind of just attacking that. But yeah, stick to our game plan and go with the ups and downs.
It's your second WNBL final series. How are you finding it? Do you feel is there a step up in intensity?
Oh yeah, for sure. It is a little bit more pressure, but I think we got some great leaders in Foles and Woody that are able to guide us kind of younger ones new to the finals in huddles and timeouts, and obviously Shannon does a great job. He believes in us and everyone who steps out on the court. And obviously being here in Townsville and our fans, it's just so much fun and they're so loud and so into it. We're very grateful that we're able to play finals here.
Shannon, how can you build on it ahead of Wednesday?
Look, I mean, we can't bank on having a 17-0 start or whatever it was to the game. I think that Southside will come out with everything to lose now, so they'll be throwing everything at the wall. As I said, I think it's going to be, and we need to be smart at the start of the game because I think it's going to be incredibly physical. And as I said, the grabbing, holding, all of that stuff will probably go to another level, and that's finals basketball. So we need to be ready to handle that a lot better. I'm sure we'll see more of the zone that they played, and they twist a man sometimes and whatnot, but we need to be prepared for that and do a much better job of executing against that. And I feel like if we take care of those 2 things, we'll put ourselves in a good position.
Lucy, I think, had 7 assists off the bench, won 6th one of the year this week. How do you think she played?
Oh, she's great. There's a couple of shots I felt like she should have taken, open threes and things in the game. I wanted to keep shooting those, but Lucy was great. She uses her length really well on defense. She's really bought into that end of the floor now, and I think, her ability to make plays, not just for herself but other people, is huge for us. And, she probably didn't have her best scoring game or anything like that today, but it's her first taste of finals as a pro player as well. So, I'm sure she'll learn a lot from today. Hopefully she continues to move the ball and get the teammates involved, and then she'll find her scoring flow as well. So it's going to be great.
Those are my questions.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's just Seb from AAP. Abby, I'll just start with you. Obviously you took on Southside early this year in their hometown and went down. How do you kind of, this time around on Wednesday, how do you kind of get around that home ground advantage that the Flyers really do thrive in?
Yeah, I mean, that first game at Flyers feels like such a long time ago, and we were definitely a different team back then. But we know playing away is always going to be hard, but we just got to remember to execute our offense and defense, and kind of just, just keep playing the way we want to play. Obviously playing here in Townsville, it's great to have those fans and the noise, and it's so much fun, but we're going to keep the same intensity and stay aggressive at the start of the game.
What does kind of the preparation look like in these next 2 or 3 days before that match?
Yeah, I mean, we'll watch some film and watch stuff that we can work on, as well as take care of our bodies. That's going to be really important, but we still want to, keep fresh, but, keep our shooting and our execution. And so I'm sure Shannon, he's been here many times, he knows how to take care of us, and then us as professional players should be able to take care of our body and move on to Wednesday.
Shannon, I just want to talk quickly about Alicia Froling. I think she got another double-digit scoring performance, a bunch of rebounds today. After kind of losing Lauren earlier this season, how much do you think she's kind of added and stepped up and almost transformed this team going into the back end of it?
Yeah, she's been huge. And I think she often doesn't get enough credit for how good of a player she is. And when we, I think not last off season, the one before, when we signed her, when we learned that she was potentially available, we really wanted her here because she's been one of the best per minute players in the WNBL for the last 4 years. So, we thought she would fit our system really well, and I think she's done that, extremely well. And since Coxie's gone out of the lineup, she's really stepped up. I don't know what she's averaged since that time, but I'm guessing it's probably 13 plus points a game. She's really upped her rebounding, and she's been great defensively. So, we're really lucky to have her, and I think she's, going to continue to have a really big final series and a big impact for us.
Awesome. That's all I have. Anyone else on the Zoom?
Yeah, I'll jump in quick. Hey guys, it's Sophie from WNBL. Firstly, Shannon, I know getting Mila as a response for last year's grand final where the offense sort of dried up, did you really expect to have 4 versions of guards that can just take over games now that you've got Abbey at a career form as well as 6 Women of the Year and your 2 starters?
Yeah, well, that was sort of the plan. To be honest, that was the plan last year. We had JC Sheldon signed, and she got injured, and it's no secret, we play a lot of pick and roll basketball, and I think having multiple players that can shoot threes off the dribble make you that much harder to guard. Then there's only certain coverages that you can really use against us. So, that was kind of the plan. I think having those 3 players on the floor at all times where they can all shoot spot up threes, attack closeouts, and play out of ball screens makes you and we saw it with Bendigo last year really as well. They were so hard to stop, and I think it makes you really tough to play against. There's obviously some trade-offs that you get at the other end where maybe we're playing a Hayley Peters and we have a size disadvantage and things like that. But, I think we've worked on a lot of things this year to be able to counteract some of that and guard the Hayley Peters, Steph Talbots, etc. of the league. And, I think it's just unlocked something in our offense. And, I think today in the game, when we moved the ball, we looked really, really good. And then when they went to that zone, we kind of stopped doing that. We stopped playing with pace. And I think that's what we need to correct in the next game. And hopefully, we'll have a chance to prepare for it. Hopefully they do it again and we can have another crack at trying to be better.
And Abbey, we all remember the game winner last year against Southside. We know you love big moments, and especially against Southside. Today you were just hitting shots that were absolute backbreakers. Is there something that ticks with Southside particularly as a Victorian, or is it just you've rose into the moment again?
I don't know. Kind of just take what's in front of me, based on a lot of the time it's off a pick and roll or something. But I think we have so many players that step up in all these different games. So I think just luck at Southside maybe, but no, it's definitely kudos to all the players out and end up getting maybe an open shot, but no, it's good.
Shannon, are those no, yes shots from Abbey sometimes for you?
Well, the one at half court, the one where she was nearly at half court today, I was a bit confused as to what was going on there, but mate, I think sometimes you got to have confidence in your players, and I've obviously brought all these guys here for a reason. I believe in Abbey and saw something special in her when she was in college at Purdue, and she's delivered for us time and time again. And I think same with Mila. Like Mila's a big shot maker, and sometimes she takes some shots where you're like, oh, I don't know about that one, but it goes in. And that's certainly something that we've tried to be better with this year, is like loosening the reins a little bit, giving the players a bit more freedom to make decisions, and just playing out of concepts a little bit more, rather than just the structured system that everyone thinks that we play possession after possession.
Thanks, guys. If anyone else wants to jump in.
Yeah, Shannon, Sammy Smythe here from Mildura, mate. Are you going to watch the game on Tuesday night against Bendigo and Perth, or just focus on game 2 against Southside on Wednesday?
Our focus is going to be on game 2. But as a fan of the league, I'm sure I'll tune in and watch it. But yeah, we're certainly, going to be putting all our focus to the Flyers, and, I think winning one game in the finals doesn't mean much. So you got to be able to go and finish the job. And, we've ticked the first box, so now we get a chance to go on the road and try and steal it on their home court.
Thanks.
Okay, Shannon, first question is, when you got to the end of the first quarter and with the scoreline as it stood, what was going through your head, and more importantly, what was your biggest concern going into the second quarter?
Well, I didn't think we did a good job rebounding, and I was annoyed that we kept sticking our hands in and getting hands fouls. So that was pretty much what we talked about at quarter time. And I think like the big thing, they got it back to, we were up 33 points, I think, in the first half, and they got it back to, I believe it was like 13 or 12 or something like this in the second half. So, I think when you start playing the scoreboard and you worry about holding a lead or like whatever, you start to freeze up, you start to play differently. And I think we did that, particularly in that back part of the second quarter, which allowed them to get some momentum. So, I think that's something we'll need to address. But yeah, I think when you start to play the scoreboard, you take your eye off the ball. And I think for us, it's just about each possession. And things go well, we keep rolling. If things don't, then we've got to move on to the next play a little bit quicker than what we probably did at times today. So that's probably, a good learning thing, and that's what we'll worry about for the next game too.
Now, they mentioned in the commentary that it's 150 games for you as the coach of Townsville. Now, if you cast your mind back to the day that you first walked into Bryden Stadium as head coach of the Flames, did you ever think that you'd be able to rack up 150 games as head coach for one team?
To be honest, no. I think I was like 26 or something when I coached Sydney. So I was probably thinking my first year we wouldn't go real well and I get fired. So sort of somehow I'm still sticking around. And I think even that's my first year here in Townsville. We won 5 games and we did come last. So somehow I kept my job through that, and Sam's kept me ever since. But no, I've talked about this a lot, but I love it here in Townsville, and I'm so fortunate to, be around basketball every day and get to do this as a job. And, there's a lot of stressful things, like, we win today and now we're stressed about game 2 already. So, there's a lot of stressful things, but I think it's not lost on me how lucky I actually am to do this as a job and get to be around really cool people every day. My assistant coaches, our players, the staff here at the Fire, and everyone that I've known for so long now. And, it's a real special place, Townsville. So, and you can see that when you walk into our stadium for a game. So it's, it's sort of a bit surreal, but yeah, very, very lucky, I think, to be in this position.
Finally, Abbey, today the entire bench got on the floor. From the point of view as a player, what's it like for you to see some of these younger players who really don't get an opportunity to get too many minutes actually get out there, and particularly in a game like this?
Yeah, it's amazing. It just shows the depth of our team. Everyone comes to training every day and gives 100% effort, and we push each other. We push each other every day. And then obviously those players that get on the court didn't miss a beat, especially in a finals game, just shows the maturity. And I think that goes to, all the players and the coaches preparing all of us for this game, and including scout, including skills. But yeah, it's amazing. And then a few people hitting some shots. It's just so much fun to watch, and everyone gets up and the crowd gets up. It just made it feel a bit more special today.
Great. Nothing more from me. Is there anyone else?
I think that's everyone. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.